from Ayo. She was so happy and couldn't wait to close from work, as he stated on the letter that he wanted to take her out for dinner and she should wear her best dress. She got dressed after she went back home and left for the dining spot. When she got there, she noticed the place was dark, and when she got in, all of a sudden the lights came on and she saw there Jide, Ayo's girlfriend, and some co-workers. Once upon a time, in the village of Egbe, there lived a maiden called Ireti. Unlike the other girls in the village, Ireti was born with a scar, which made people consider her ugly, and she hardly went out or had friends, except for her friend Titi, who was friends with her because they grew up together, given that their mothers were best friends. Ireti's father died years ago and she was raised by her mother. She was her mother's pride and joy. Even though people tended to look down on her, no one wanted to have anything to do with her. But Titi looked beyond her friend's features and knew her to be a very sweet girl, and they both had each other's back. Her mother received all sorts of humiliation because of her daughter's features. Her uncles wanted to have nothing to do with her, as they asked her not to call them uncle because they were sure she wasn't their brother's child. These words usually broke Ireti's mother's heart, but she was glad her late husband had cleared them by openly accepting Ireti, saying he was blessed to have her as his own child, so no one troubled her to leave her husband's house, as they could not find a means to chase her out. Ireti always covered herself up when she went to school, and this messed with her, as she once begged her mother to pull her out of school as she did not want to attend, given they always made fun of her. She would be seen playing by herself with no one to talk to except her friend Titi. Ireti avoided any form of trouble because it was obvious that people loved to make a ridicule of her, and she did not want anyone to ever hurt her or make her feel less herself. Nor did she want to trouble her poor mom. It was a struggle for them to feed most times because her mother found it very difficult to make ends meet. She could barely feed herself and Ireti, not to talk of paying fees. She tried her best to hide it from her daughter, but the constant visits of debtors made it difficult for her to hide, even if she asked her daughter to leave for the room. Most times, people would ask her to leave her child, so she wouldn't bring her bad luck, as any man who wanted to remarry her, upon seeing the child she has, would take to their heels, so she wouldn't give them a child like Ireti. Ireti's mother would mostly find her crying when she must have been called ugly, but her mother would tell her not to do that. As long as she is concerned, she is the most beautiful girl she has ever come across, and that she should never let anyone make her feel less herself. She took her mother's words to heart and ensured she carried herself with pride and did not let their words get to her so much. Ireti kept up with everything, and she and her mother managed to pull through until she became an adult. She was already through with school but was finding it difficult to get a job, because no one wanted her to scare the customers away with her looks and for the fear of people not patronizing them. This kept on going, and even though Ireti would act like she is strong most times, she would be found broken down and would cry her eyes out and ask her chi what she had ever done to be brought into this world like this, a world full of hate and mockery. She wondered how long she could cope, and on one or two occasions tried to take her life, but was stopped by her mother and Titi. They asked her not to try such, and her mother, who gave up everything just to ensure she raised her, asked her if this is how she wants to pay her back. That now she is meant to reap the fruit of her labor, she then wants to end her life. She talked to herself and promised her mother that she would not try to take her life again, that she was so sorry, and indeed she never did. Titi and Ireti's bond became stronger over the years, And Titi valued Ireti's friendship because, unlike her other friends, Ireti was more truthful and plain about most things and did not fail to advise her friend well. Titi one day came to visit her friend and told her of a job offer that came up, that they want someone to be the storekeeper. And since she won't have to attend to customers, it would be best she consider taking the job. Ireti did not want to let her friend finish talking when she hugged her tightly and thanked her friend so much and promised not to disappoint her. She went for the job with her friend and they gave her the job because of Titi's recommendation. The pay was okay, at least it would feed her and her mother. She went home and broke the news to her mother and they were super excited. She couldn't wait to resume work the next day and had her clothing ready for the day's job ahead. The following day, she was the first to report to work and her supervisor was already impressed. She was introduced and shown the area she would cover. She was placed under a guy named Jide and he was asked to ensure he teaches her what he knows, as she was now his assistant in the job. She was so happy that she did not really notice that he did not want to shake her hand the day they were introduced. He had to just do it. Ireti would ask Jide a whole lot of questions about the job, so she would feel carried along. But Jide did not pay any attention to her. Whispers had already started to fly in their place of work, and no one wanted to talk to her, so none came to make friends with her. She was already used to that type of behavior and so avoided anything that would bring her problem, as she valued her job so much and did not want to lose it. Several times, she has had to report Jide to the supervisor for calling her ugly and talking down on her, most especially refusing to teach her anything. The supervisor tried to handle the situation the best way he could, but had to give Jide a serious warning when he saw him talking down on Ireti one day. Jide told her to watch her back, as snitches get stitches. One day, the front desk worker had to excuse herself to go on lunch, and the person to cover her had a running stomach after she left, and so no one to attend to the customers. Ireti, as the storekeeper, was already familiar with the prices, but decided to keep low. She went and told Jide the situation, and he asked her to go attend to the customers and not keep them waiting. She said she did not want any kind of trouble and asked him if he could go, and he ordered her to go attend to the customers right away, and she left to do that. Some customers kept to themselves, purchased and left, looking at her weirdly, but a particular customer, a lady who came with her boyfriend, saw her and started to cause a scene, asking who brought this monster to serve them, that if she did not leave, they would never patronize them again. Her boyfriend could visibly be seen calming her down, but she refused. No matter how Ireti tried to explain and apologize, the lady kept yelling, and it caught the ears of the supervisor, who inquired Ireti what she was doing there. When she narrated what happened, the supervisor calmed the customer down and offered them to take the goods they picked free as compensation. In the office, he told her that the money was coming out of her salary, and she said she did not want to do that. Jide asked her to do so, and when Jide was asked, he rejected ever urging her on to do what she did, that she wanted to be the hero and save the day. But he warned her, and the supervisor took his words and gave her a week's suspension. Ireti cried on her bed that night. She refused to eat as she felt so hurt. Her mother had a talk with her, and after she told her mom what happened, she told her daughter that life could be unfair sometimes, but there is always light at the end of the tunnel. She asked her to go meet her supervisor the next day and apologize that it won't happen again, and if he takes the money from her salary, she should leave it to God. She did as her mother instructed, and her boss said he wanted to reach her to inform her to resume work, that the man who came that day with his woman who caused the trouble came to apologize to her but met her absence, that he paid for the items, meaning your salary would be complete at the end of the month, and she thanked him so much. Jide wasn't happy that his plans did not go as planned and told her to watch her back. Ireti wondered how long she would have to endure all Jide was making her go through. On her way home, she met a young man who stopped her and said he wanted to apologize about the other day, that his name is Ayo and my girlfriend was the one who embarrassed her.
That he was sorry for what she did to her.
She said it wasn't a problem, that she has gotten used to the ill treatment and bade him goodbye, which he begged her to accompany him so he could take her somewhere so he could make up for it. She said it wasn't a problem. Besides, you did not do anything to me. If at all I should be offended, it would be at your lady friend, but I beg to take my leave. Before she left, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" which she obliged him, and he asked where she got the scarf from. She said she was born with it. He said she looked beautiful and she was stunned, not just for anything, but for the first time in her life, she saw someone who genuinely appreciated her. She smiled, thanked him and left. Ireti felt a sort of joy in her heart she never felt before and left for her home with smiles on her face. The next day, as she was walking through the storage area, she could see Ayo through the window as she blushed and then continued with what she was doing. The end of the day, she received a letter written to her, addressed to her from Ayo. She was so happy and couldn't wait to close from work, as he stated on the letter that he wanted to take her out for dinner and she should wear her best dress. She got dressed after she went back home and left for the dining spot. When she got there, she noticed the place was dark, and when she got in, all of a sudden the lights came on and she saw there Jide, Ayo's girlfriend, and some co-workers. They started to laugh at her. Ayo's girlfriend asked whatever gave her the thought that her man would love her, that he has eyes for me alone, and they threw some food at her. She wept and took to her heels, running home. For days she did not report to work, and words were sent to her mother, and she said Ireti had to leave to her maternal side to get herself, as she was hurt from what her co-workers did to her. When the supervisor got to the root of Ireti's absence, he fired Jide immediately and told him that someone with a bad heart can't work for him. He also laid off some others that were involved in the evil. Ayo tried reaching her, but to no avail. Months later, and Ireti's mother hasn't heard from her and hoped her daughter will heal from the hurt. Not long, word got to her mother that Ayo would be getting married, and she received an invitation with her name on it. Her mother felt it wasn't her business, as she knows her daughter might have attended, but decided to stand in for her daughter and went. On the day of the ceremony, people were gathered to witness the show of love, and just as they were about to begin, Ayo's girlfriend asked them to stop, and she took off the necklace and the face changed to Ireti. People were so shocked at what they saw, especially Ayo. He was so scared and asked her if she was a witch. She said no, that she can explain. He said he was listening, and in front of the crowd, she narrated that after the day they humiliated her, that she kept running till she found herself in a strange place, and she said she wished she could get back at Yemisi, Ayo's girlfriend, that Ayo deserved to be with a woman like her, and a lady appeared to her and said she can make her dreams come true, and gave her a necklace that if she wears it, she will look exactly like Yemisi, and Ayo would not notice, and that Yemisi would disappear, that breaking the necklace will free her, but as long as she wears it, she takes her form. She accepted, and over time has come to fall so deep in love with him, but she can't let him be deceived that he is marrying Yemisi when he is getting married to her instead. She said she had to lie to her mom so she won't go looking for her and not find her hence, telling her she will stay at her maternal side till she heals. Ayo said, "You know I like you, but why do this?" She said no one has ever treated her with love, nor even looked at her. He said he was going to break up with Yemisi that period, but all of a sudden, he noticed a great change in her and was so happy, and he fell in love with her deeply. He did not know she stole her face, that she did not have to do that, and begged her to release Yemisi. She broke the necklace and Yemisi appeared before them. and Ayo took her away. Ireti's mother witnessed the whole action and took her home. Her mother said she was disappointed in her, that why will you go to that extent? That she has told her that she is beautiful and does not need anyone to validate it. Ireti left for her room and cried for days. Her mom thought she would want to kill herself, so decided to check on her daughter regularly so she wouldn't hurt herself. After a week, Ayo came to her home, and on seeing her, she apologized to him again, and he said no need, that he actually came to say he has thought a lot about the whole situation, and if she did not mind taking him back, that he was still very much in love with her. That looks had never been the issue for him, but finding a lady with a good heart and all that quality I found in you. She asked about Yemisi. He said he thought all that happened to her would make her change, but it was obvious she would never change, that if she doesn't mind, he would love to spend the rest of his life with her. She was super excited and hugged him tight and said yes. And her mother, who was eavesdropping, raised her hands and said, "Thank you, God." They officially started planning for their wedding, and this time around, Ayo was sure of who he was with, and Ireti has never felt this type of joy in her life and hoped it would last forever. The end. Some of the lessons to be learned from these stories are: never despise or treat anyone with disdain. Do not make anyone feel less of themselves because of their appearance. Do not hold so much hate in your heart. You might end up destroying yourself. No matter what you look like, always know you are beautifully created. Learn to look beyond the looks of people and know what really dwells in their hearts.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us. Turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story. Like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.